Thank you very much all for joining after lunch. It's always a difficult time to manage a panel after lunch. So we will try to make it interesting and we will try to get maximum out of it so that you will not disappointed at all. So let's start with an introduction. Manasa, why don't you start with your introduction and we will keep in the same sequence.
Hi everyone. Okay, wow, this is. Hi everyone. I'm the co-founder of Kindlife. We are India's fastest growing beauty, health, and wellness platform. We're aimed at getting the best of global brands into India, and especially for young India, Gen Z, late millennials, etc. So we're about 3 years old. We have 800 brands on the platform and a community of 2.5 million. So that's a little bit about me.
Thank you, Manasa.
And us.
Saahil.
Hi everyone, my name is Saahil and I'm the founder for Mila Beauty. We are a color cosmetic brand, and the idea is to make beauty as accessible as we can to the Indian market. We are a brand which is focused truly to pioneer eye beauty, which is Indian beauty.
Aditya.
Hi, I'm Aditya. I'm a co-founder of Assembly. We're a new age luggage brand in the luggage and travel goods space, started 5 years back. Focuses on making thoughtfully designed travel goods for the frequent travelers. And yeah, nice to be here.
Hi, I'm Sudip. I founded Acefour. We have a brand called Uppercase about 3 years back. We are a luggage company as well. We make luggage out of sustainable material, and we are 100% Shuddh Indian company where we conceptualize, design, make, produce, sell in India.
Perfect. So we have a very right kind of mix. We have beauty as well, we have luggage as well, we have luxury products as well. So now about me, I am Amit Singal. I run a fund called Fluid Venture. We are early stage D2C investors where we invest at seed stage and pre-series A. Our ticket size is 2 to 4 crore rupees. We come at a stage where the company is in between the growth and hand-holding. So that's how we come into as a partner to the startups. So first question I will ask all the panelists, then we will go to the specific questions. Now it is what we have heard that product is not selling the product. Like in earlier days, it was just like you do an advertisement, you tell some benefits of that product and you start selling that. Now the emotional connect is extremely important for any kind of product. So Mansa, we will start with you again. So which kind of emotional connect you create while selling the product to the customer?
So we're the go-to for a lot of the international beauty brands, and specifically Korean beauty, Japanese beauty. And you're absolutely right. I think just saying that here, this is the product, this is trending, go buy it, is not going to cut it anymore. Just the way that consumers are discovering is very different. From an emotional perspective, I think for us, it's about having the right conversations, and especially with Korean beauty, what ends up happening is that it's a function and it gets impacted by K-culture, the Hallyu wave. So if you open Netflix, 4 out of the top 10 shows are K-dramas. And I think what we've realized is to build a holistic conversation on this space, and especially for Gen Z, where it's an extension. Self-care is an extension of their lifestyle. And that's why for us, the connect is more around the kind of conversations that we're having, the kind of people we work with, how we've gamified the experience of just how they talk about the industry, everything. So it's a 360-degree approach of how we look at self-care. And it is definitely beyond here, come buy this product.
Perfect. So you are playing with the emotion of the Gen Z where they are very influenced with the K culture and you are utilizing it properly. Sahil, what about you? How you are creating an emotional connect in your product?
So I think makeup, it's a very flirtatious product, and it's a very flirtatious category. Having said that, I think after a point of time it becomes very difficult to differentiate one lipstick to another. So I think where we come in is to dial up the whole brown girl, brown skin. And I think that's where we are seeing a lot of connect with the younger audiences, with the India too, wherein they see that this is not just a product. This is a brand that's talking for us. This is a brand that is talking for Indian skin, Indian weather, our skin tones. Even most of the models that we use, creators that we use, we don't try and look for the the most prettiest, the fairest of them all. We go to look at somebody who's a lot more relatable. So I think the younger audience, they see and experience the brand as something which as one of them, and I think that's what that's what makes us get that kind of love. And I mean, over the last 2 months, we sold over 100,000 lipsticks, and it was primarily coming in from the India too.
Got it. So you are saying that you connect it with their own emotions and saying this is only for you. So that's how you are creating the ownership that yes, they can correlate
Beauty
the
is
product with.
realistic. It is not an unrealistic standard of
Correct.
beauty that we are trying to
Correct.
create.
Yeah, absolutely. आदित्य ये लगेज में कैसे इमोशंस आते हैं?
For many years, luggage was looked at as a utility product. When people were not traveling very frequently, it didn't really matter as much, and you'd probably be in a household and just share what products are lying. I think the tipping point was the frequency of travel. When frequency of travel increased and people realized, in our category that, you're walking into a meeting with a certain luggage, you're posting on Instagram about your travel experiences. I think that's the tipping point where this transcended into a bit of a fashion product or a lifestyle product. And I think that's the journey we've been on, in the last few years. To build an emotional connect for us, I think it's been about, saying no to a lot of things that we're not and doing like a few things and really well. Like for us, it was really important that, if this is the price point we're playing in, which was mass premium, we can build more revenue by going lower, but, we have to hold on to that. Similarly, we're kind of in that space where we're, the words that we, try and make sure that our products that are top of mind when people see our products are elegant and sophisticated and classic, and that means not doing very loud colors, not being very over the top, and just staying true to who you are.
Got it. Perfect. Sudip?
Yeah, I quite agree with Aditya. I've been in this industry for almost 20 years now. Funny, when you sell luggage, you get into a flight, you are in a business class, you can see, the guy wearing a Armani suit, wearing a Montblanc specs, probably the watches, one of the luxury watches, and you see his bag you can make out he's bought it from Big Bazaar at that point of time. And I've seen it change. I think, like Aditya said, closer to body products are usually where emotional connects happen. And with the invent of people traveling more and not checking in but carrying luggage with them, that is where the tipping point happened. It's still a long way to go. If you are not dealing in luggage, or if you are not related to any of the luggage companies, you'll never think of luggage till the time your luggage breaks. So I think it's still a pretty long time to go, but slowly people are realizing that luggage or travel gear needs to become travel wear, and the day we can make travel gear travel wear will win the battle. So yeah, next time when you travel, think about luggage as much as you think about your flight and your hotels.
Great. Very good. Saahil, next question is specifically to you. Mila Beauty is known for this customization and personalization. So how do you use technology and data-driven approach to give a better experience to your customer?
So I think I see this, I'll answer this question in two parts. I think how we're using technology, because I have two sets of customers. One is my set of customers which are my direct consumers, and second is my set of consumers which are my retailers, because we are also a very heavy offline business. So I think what we do is we have an application, in fact, which eases it a lot for my retailers. Because when they are ordering, or when whatever products they have ordered, the inventory they have ordered, all of it is on a single window for them. So what it does for some small shops sitting in a Lucknow or a Jaipur or a Meerut, they have 100% visibility on the kind of inventory that they have bought from, say, my distributors, and what is it that they need to sell ahead. And it gives a lot of flexibility even to my own team to know exactly what is moving, what is not moving. So no retailer of mine is overstocked on any one shade if it's not moving. So I think it's very important to not just look after the consumer as the end customer, but also of our partners, vendors, which is our retailers, our shops which are actually selling the product. So that is one. I think from personalization on from a .com perspective. We're not a very large business per se in .com, but when you're shopping online, I think the whole experience becomes very, very important. So we're trying to use a lot of personalization on WhatsApp as one thing, and we are seeing that as a big impact for the consumer, because a lot of times, these OTP checkouts become a problem. They are not able to locate it on SMS. They are not checking emails. So while I think there's probably a slightly higher cost, but having the entire tracking mechanism and not losing out on offers, promotions through WhatsApp is something which we see that happen in a big way, especially with these integrations that we're doing with Shopify. So they don't have to also go and put in all their customer details again. That's something which is also kind of auto filled for them. So I think there are these small experientially things which not just helps our conversion, but also the frustration level of going and putting the entire address and then locating your OTPs on SMSs, finding where is my order status on emails. So we're just trying to make it make the experience slightly more seamless.
Great. So what we have learned that personalization can be done using the technology. Now there are tools available where you can be connected with your potential customer and can connect with them in a way they feel that this is only for them. So next question, Aditya, for you. Assembly is known for functionality and design, as we understand and you mentioned as well. So how do you utilize the storytelling in this case where you communicate to the customer that yes, the brand is known for that? What are the do's and don'ts when you are communicating with your potential customer about the brand story?
No, so, I mean, it starts with the product design. On the product design side, when you're designing a luggage, I think it's come to a point where you need to give equal emphasis to both. Like I was saying previously, that earlier it was utility, so you could probably be less, on the aesthetics. But at this point in time, I think the most important thing is that when, the superpower of this category is that, when you see a luggage, do you notice it? Is it a luggage that you'd like to buy? So that it starts with there. But ultimately the customer experience, is linked to the functionality of the product. So the customer will come back if they've had like a good experience using the product. From a storytelling perspective, I think what digital media allows for is to have a very funnel-wise ability to tell your content. So, at an upper funnel level, you'd focus more on aesthetics. And, in our case, what we find is that people typically buy a luggage. It's not an immediate purchase. It takes usually 5-6 days, 5-6 clicks for somebody to buy. So you start with your, upper funnel, more aesthetic, more travel content related stuff in terms of content. And then, start going more into, as the customer starts showing more engagement, you start focusing more on the features and utility. So that's one approach that, our performance team would be taking.
Very well said. So you can start with designing, then can go to the functionality or vice versa as well, depending upon the product. But both the factors are extremely important nowadays, where design and utilities goes hand in hand. Sudip, my next question is for you. As we know that in this category, the customer base are very different. Means one person can use the luggage only for the office use, another one maybe travel, and the utilization is very different. How do you manage the different set of customer, and how do you assess, okay, which category I should focus more and where I should do little less?
Thank God that there are different customers. Usually people buy luggage once and then come back after 7 years saying, बहुत अच्छा luggage था. तो 7 साल तो हम किसी को बेचेंगे नहीं. But thankfully,
upsell to them.
Yeah. So I guess with various segments, there are we have something called a long haul and a short haul. Long haul is where people travel for more number of days, therefore they usually use suitcases. Short haul is where it's a frequent travel, like from home to school, home to office. That's the short haul version of we. So today, what we are seeing is the life cycle of luggage, or a customer who was buying luggage earlier used to buy it, say, once in 5 years. Now it has kind of come down to about 1 to 3 years. People are changing luggages, though very, very, very small, minuscule. But what really is fueling the growth is the short haul. I think the backpacks, the office bags, the rucksacks, those are the ones, and the cabin bag are the ones which are actually fueling the growth in the category. So yeah, I mean, you have to be present in both. You have to figure out where exactly the customer is, what is the customer asking, and be present in those segments. But one thing is for sure, like you eat, sleep, drink, you travel, and you need luggage. That is the universal truth.
Mansa, do you want
All
to
right.
add something here?
Sorry to interrupt, Amit. We have Bharat Sethi also here, so I would like him to also join the panel. So Bharat Sethi, founder from Rage Coffee, a little late, but then he's here
No
with
one is
us.
late.
Can we have a round of applause for Mr. Bharat,
All of
please?
us are hustler.
Yes.
Nobody. So, Bharat, you are a known personality in the startup ecosystem. Still, I will request you to give your introduction first. कौन नहीं जानता, कौन नहीं पी रहा?
Thank you so much, Amit. इतना generous introduction के लिए, but not taking too much time. I'm the founder of Rage Coffee, and happy to be on this panel.
So we were talking about that product is not just about product selling, it's about experience as well. So we were on Manasa. Manasa was trying to add something on this diversity of the customers. So would you like to add something here?
On the storytelling piece?
So let me ask the question in a different perspective, where how do you build experience that align with your audience value and the aspirations? Because now we have heard this terminology ki aspiration product banana hai, so how do you balance that?
So I think the way that we look at building the experience is also very different. Let me give you an example. We launched our first IP and did the first edition in December, where we did a 2-day Korean lifestyle festival, a Gen Z forward festival in person. So you could come, you can try the products. It was a 2-day music, food, beauty, everything in one place. For us, when we look at building out experiences, it's an extension of that. How do I build that out as a place which is a community building opportunity, whether it's online or offline? And that is how, for us, experiences are. It is not, as I said, it cannot be a hard sell of the product anymore. That's baseline. Not like you shouldn't do it, but everyone has to do it. So your not so interesting, fun part of performance marketing, और वो तो वैसे भी चलेगा. But I think it is what are the unique experiences that you build. And Cosmos was an example. We have on our app, we do live shopping, which does extremely well, live commerce. So you come, you can be a part of any of the live commerce that is done by creators, that is done by our team, where you can know about the product, you can know about the category, why should I use, what is the difference between this sunscreen and that, what is it about sunscreens that works really well, what is a 4-step, 10-step, 8-step routine. So for us, we look at that not only as how the customer discovers it, but also who's talking about it. And I think you had spoken about creators. I think that's the most important thing. We work with a lot of creators and KOLs. We call them KOLs because whether it's a dermatologist or anyone who gives you honest reviews, feedback, this is working, this is not working. So for us, experience is all of this. It's beyond, it's online, offline, what I put out on social media. How do I build a community based on that?
Nice. Very good. So Bharat, how important is the storytelling in the product? Storytelling.
Storytelling, I think, is not cannot be a forced sort of a thing. I think it's built into the genesis of the brand. Why, the what. I think that's where the story comes from mostly.
So let me rephrase the question. Is it really important to build the story? या coffee को coffee कह के भेजा जा सकता है? तो how do you connect with your customer by telling a story that yes, this coffee is for you only?
Consumers have evolved a lot. I think in India, if you look at it, maybe 5, 7, 10 years back, it was possible to sell, because the distribution power was there. I mean, you could just place products on the shelves and they would sell because consumers had no other choice. उसको लगेज खरीदना है आज तो एक ही खरीदेगा, 4 तो नहीं खरीदेगा. अब वो एक क्यों खरीदे? So coffee 4, 5, 10 तरह की coffee है. Why? So I think storytelling is linked to the why of the consumer. Why would they choose you over others? And I think that's where the bit comes into play. But I see a lot of where a lot of brands go wrong is they force fit storytelling into the, because it's working for somebody else, it might work for us. I think that is not the right view of storytelling.
Yes, absolutely, you are correct. That storytelling is very important to communicate with the brand, but it is not like that it is forcefully added to that. Specific question to you, how important is the packaging of a CPG product? Because for other, it is like utility more. But when we are talking about CPG, do you think that packaging is extremely important, or that is the only factor which consumer consider while buying any product?
See, packaging is probably one of the most important things. I think in some cases, packaging even becomes more important than the product itself. I'll tell you why. Because the functional, so packaging has two things. One is the aesthetic value of it. If you are a mass brand, how much you spend on it. If you are premium pricing, how much you spend on packaging, so on and so forth. But the more important part of packaging is also today to do with the functionality of packaging. How does it link to the experience of the consumer? For example, what we have done is we've created this unique, molded jars with one of its kind cap. So it's the only deep lug metal cap jar in India. No other coffee brand in India does a metal cap. For example, anybody who has their own mold. In fact, globally, very few do it. So it's a very tough choice to make, but one has to make those choices to stand out and also be true to their core. So packaging is extremely important, and one needs to build that into their, brand DNA from the beginning itself.
Got it. So one point is that packaging is extremely important to be stand out in the market. Second is that it should have some utility as well, so that it can be, there should be some deliberation about that, why you are using the specific packaging, and if it can increase the experience of a customer by using packaging in a certain way, that is available.
In CPG, in FMCG, I'll definitely tell you that globally, and in India now, but globally, बहुत ज़्यादा हो रहा है ये चीज़ कि पैकेजिंग इनोवेशन से प्रोडक्ट इनोवेशन हो रही है. एक ऑलिव ऑयल की कंपनी है बहुत पॉपुलर यूएस में, नाउ वेरी लार्ज, दिस स्टार्टेड 6-7 years बैक. तो उन्होंने ऑलिव ऑयल की पैकेजिंग चेंज करी प्राइमरली, एंड देन दे चेंज द वे ऑलिव ऑयल वाज बीइंग स्प्रेड, on the pan in the kitchenware that one was using. That changed the game. It was the same product, but packaging made them who they sort of became. So yeah, I think it's critical. It's very critical in FMCG especially.
Great. So Manasa, next question for you. What have been biggest challenge in maintaining the customer centric as a brand scale? तो जैसे जैसे ब्रांड स्केल करता जाता है तो there is a challenge to do a customer centric approach. How do you manage in your company?
Authenticity is the most important thing, and I think this is all brand owners are going to say that. I think you will fumble, you will make mistakes. It will not be an ideal thing from day one. But consumers are very forgiving. If you come clean and tell them honestly, and tell them what you're going to do as an ad. So just saying, sorry, we messed up is not the thing. How do you back that with, these are the changes that we are making? For us, our consumers and community have been the center of everything that we have built out. And that also means listening to them. It's not only when you mess up, but it's also from a future lens. We get to know a lot from our community as well. And that only happens because it's a two-way process of a dialogue. So I think consumer-centric is table stakes. But the idea is it needs to be a two-way channel of communication and feedback loop, and how do you address it? And luckily with all of us, and I can say this, is that the beauty of working or being entrepreneurs or at a startup is that you can also fix the changes a lot faster. So it's easy to go back and tell the customers, okay, I heard you, and this is what we've got.
So as I understood from you on multiple discussions that you are playing a big role with the community. So looks like community is playing a very relevant role in you. Anyone else out of you are playing a community game where you have a community, and if you want to share your experience, if you have got very good feedback or good innovations from the community? Or are we not working on the community part at all?
I think it's table stakes. I think authenticity and community, it's impossible to build a brand without somebody feeling, or a community of people feeling very connected to the brand. I think there is no loyalty without, that feeling of being taken care of, that love and warmth towards the brand. We call them ragers, and we started with the community. But community building is just more than just putting posts on social media, for example. It's a lot more. It's also changing very dynamically, like doing offline events, for example. So I think it's evolving. But I think it's impossible to build a loved brand without
community.
people or fans or loyalists just shouting from the top, from the roofs of their houses, and at the top of their voices that we love this brand. They will tell 10 people, 100 people about it. So I think that's where the love comes from.
Got it. So next question is to both of you, Aditya and Sudip. How do you manage the competition? Looks like it is a product which everyone can create, and you must have got these questions from multiple people where they were saying there is no entry level barrier. क्या है, luggage ही तो है, कोई भी बना लेगा. So how do you manage those questions? And apart from it, your competitor must innovating new products. So do you have some fear कि यार ये product आ गया है, इससे खतरा होगा? So how do you manage the competition?
No, I mean, it's actually quite a, I would say that it's actually quite a technical product. Like Sudip saying that making good quality supply of luggage at a good price from India is actually not easy at all. This is a category which typically has been importing 90% of luggage in the hard luggage space over the last many years. So I would say that in our case also, we're about 70% India. And so it's a highly technical product. I think the positive aspect of it is there's always innovation happening. So for instance, we recently launched luggage with a wide-handled trolley, which is more smoother to roll than a narrow-handled trolley, right? So there are always features to add. There are always different use cases. The long-haul use case was very prominent maybe 8-10 years back. In the last few years, short-haul has just shot up. People traveling for 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, people going from multiple modes of transport, air, rail, road. So I think the ability to, this is one category where the ability to innovate is very high. And there's actually not too much. I would say that, in a category like ours, it has been very oligopolistic traditionally. And even right now, I don't think there are, my sense is that the market opportunity is large enough for 3-4 good, strong players to coexist. And how, let's say, somebody like us would manage it is, to be authentic, do what you're doing well. If we do if we do certain things well, stick to that, don't do everything else. So, you can't be everything to everyone. We have a certain age group which is a little more mature than a very Gen Z age group, and we feel that it's better to just double down on what's working rather than trying to spread ourselves too thin.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm your user for last 5-7 years, so definitely you can correlate that I am not in Gen Z. What about you, Sudip? How do you manage?
Yeah, try doing luggage business, trust me. It's not easy. It looks very easy. China में जाओ खरीद के लेके आके बेच दो, नहीं होता है. आप करोगे, आपका स्टॉक बढ़ जाएगा, वर्किंग कैपिटल विल गो फॉर अ टॉस. इंडिया में बना के कोशिश करोगे, क्वालिटी नहीं आएगी. So just to tell, if people are trying to come into this business, beware. It's not easy. Another way of not allowing people coming in, just between you and me. ये सब सो गए.
Trying to kill his competition.
थोड़ा जागो, सवाल वाल करो यार. So to start with, there are various people. If there are, I don't know, 50 people are sitting here, or maybe a little more or a little less. Everybody has a very different taste on luggage when you actually go to buy. So I think there are people who like flat colors. There are people who like colorful luggages, and all you have to do is be very, very true. Like all of the panelists have said about being authentic. I'll give you an example. We make everything out of recycled plastic bottles. There is a segment which is very lucrative, which is polypropylene. We have not gone there because we have not cracked it yet, and we have stayed away. It's a big business, a lot of money can be earned, but we said no, we are a sustainable company unless we can figure out how to make products which is sustainable. And trust me, the funds that are funded us, Bharat knows we have a common fund between us. There are enough and more pressures to say, yaar, ye kar dete hain to, sale बढ़ जाएगी. But no, please be true to yourself, because in the long run, that's what's going to make you be differentiated, And very rightly, India is a large market. There's an amazing number of consumers who are there. And if you are authentic, you will find your niche and you will be able to sell. So yeah, be authentic and stick to your USP.
Great. So Sahil, एक word है WhatsApp University, where people keep sharing the information. ये मत खाओ, ये मत पहनो, ये मत लगाओ. तो ये जो मिस इन्फॉर्मेशन होती है ब्यूटी प्रोडक्ट्स के बारे में, वेयर पीपल कीप सेइंग दैट दिस इज हार्मफुल, यू शुड नॉट यूज दैट, हाउ डू यू मैनेज दोज काइंड ऑफ कम्युनिकेशन एंड हाउ यू ट्राई टू डू ए ब्रांड कम्युनिकेशन टू अवॉइड कि मिस इन्फॉर्मेशन मार्केट में ना रहे?
To be very honest, I don't think how much we can control the misinformation. I think the best that we do is to make sure that we don't fall in that category. We are a 100%, like we are a completely vertically integrated brand. So I have my own factory, I'm manufacturing my own products. So I think what we do is over communicate with the customers. I think that's the only way to not fall prey to this misinformation. So we over communicate. So with with every post which even goes on social media, we end our post with our beauty promises, and in that we make sure our certifications are constantly there, right? May it be FDA, may it be Derma, may it be PETA, may it be made safe. So I think for us that is one very key thing. Across all modes of communications, we make sure that our beauty promises are very clearly communicated to the consumer, down to every smallest packaging of ours as well. So I think from our end, the only thing a brand can do is actually just make sure and make the consumer feel safe. As far as this WhatsApp misinformation goes ahead, I think that's just something we have to live with.
Got it. Manasa, would you like to add something here? Any different strategy you follow? I believe this is the best strategy where you can create a transparency in the communication, and you can clearly say, okay, these are the certification which we have, and that's how we are safe.
So for us, I think the biggest thing is because we have so many brands on the platform, it's also telling consumers ki ye authentic hai. And that is something that, so when you're on the product page, you can see the ingredients, you can see the certifications, you can see that the brand has authorized us to sell it. So if you're buying, at least with Kindlife, touchwood, we've not had that because people know that it's a brand sourced. Any seller can't come and sell it. They go through multiple checks before we list them. So the back check is done so much. But yeah, there is in the beauty space in general, I understand where you're coming from, that there is ye lagane se ye ho jayega, ye lagane se. But I think that is how well you communicate and you tell them that some of it is just bogus. You know.
So I am assuming that in your listing as well, you are clearly demarcating what ingredients they have, so that they can decide whether they want.
You can see all the ingredients when you're shopping. I think you know that was very clear for us for 100% transparency. We also hold brand. We get that information and get way more than the brand would have given to us, because we also want to tell them that safe to use. This is what it is. Anytime a customer, even by fluke, says this doesn't work, though it's completely brand sourced, we take it back, we'll exchange it, because for us, customer experience is very, very important.
Great. Bharat, now some insider information. Which kind of trends you are looking in the beverage industry in next couple of years? अब ये जो young entrepreneurs बैठे हैं, ये कहाँ पर business शुरू करें? आपने तो coffee choose कर लिया.
Actually, that's a very broad question, but F&B, or I'll take it maybe a little bit broader and then trying to condense it into more specific. What I'm seeing is that number one, I feel the why will keep becoming bigger and bigger, because there's going to be so much of noise. There's obviously a growing audience, but there's also a lot more noise now in every category. That's, I think, the first thing. I think direct to consumer will continue to grow in some categories. That's definitely going to happen. So that distribution disruption is still playing out. Quick commerce might consolidate in the next couple of months, maybe a year, 2 years, which will also be very critical, because that dependency or that monopolization sort of habits are not good for anyone. I believe it's not good for the ecosystem in general. So some sort of policy making will need to come, and some sort of distribution disruption sort of which is leaning more and more towards quick com now, might get corrected. That's my assumption. We'll see how that pans out. Because there's a lot of dependency for young brands on these platforms, and it's growing, so which is not good, I believe. Beyond that,
do you assume or visualize any other distribution model which exists in nature? We have seen the e-commerce, we have seen the quick commerce, now social commerce is also there, live commerce is also there. So what next you are looking for in that?
See, I believe. So Saahil yesterday mentioned from delivery. I think he pointed out, I think day before yesterday, that they've just started 2-hour deliveries in Bangalore for all of their customers, or for a select bit of their customers. I think that disruption is going to be massive. If we are able to unlock, for example, for a impulse purchase, for a snacking brand, or for a beverage brand, or for a lot of the impulse purchase, if we can unlock that 2-hour delivery or a 3-hour delivery also, or maybe a 4-5 hour delivery, maybe same day is not that convincing to any customer. That time frame of 3, 4, 2 hours in some categories will really, change the game. And I believe Amazon is already working on it. So I think they are already under the cover concern of working on it. So that is there. But so coming back, so distribution disruption will continue across platforms, I believe. Social will continue to rise. I think there's going to be a lot of founder-led brands, which will be founders just propagating the story of the brand on social. Like TikTok shops in the US have picked up massively, and in China, live commerce through live commerce. I think that bit is still not really come to India, but I think it will come. I believe that. Paid media is slowly going towards the big enterprise guys. They're putting in more money. They're moving their ATL, BTL spends to digital now. But which is for awareness. So top of the funnel awareness has changed completely. Today, if you look at conversion at scale online, very, very, very few categories can give you a profitable conversion at scale online only. So jitna organic hoega, jitna social content led hoega, I think that's the future.
So I am of the firm believer that hyperlocal will play a significant role. So there may be two type of 15-minute or 2 hours delivery kind of thing. One is that Amazon or this kind of player create their own warehouse. Other may be connecting with the local retailer with the customer, because in this case supply chain will play a significant role where they will pick up something and will deliver. So now it will again come to the local retail shop where they will become important to deliver this product in a designated time. That's what is my belief. But very well said, because the distribution channel are going to change significantly. Sudip, my next question is to you. As of now, people are buying luggage in a different way. Sometimes people just buy while going to the airport, sometimes online, offline. Which kind of GTM strategy you are looking for in future? Means what can impact the customer more? Offline ज़्यादा sale होने की probability है, online sale होने की ज़्यादा probability है in your future?
देखिए, customers have been changing over the last 5 years actually. Pre-COVID and post-COVID, the customers are very different. People are suddenly not very afraid to buy online. Pre-COVID, there was always a thing that, online में क्या खरीदेंगे, क्या आएगा. I think COVID took away that scare of not knowing and buying. And therefore, the generations who probably would have never used mobile phones started using it, and obviously the generations coming after have done. So online is going to be important, but for a category like us, or rather the luggage category, I think the look and feel is important, because you have to understand a luggage is like a home outside your home. Like when you're traveling, that's your home. And you don't buy home always online. There are some people who buy online homes.
Touch and feel.
Yes. I think all products, all categories where trust is important, I think touch and feel will become very important. And today consumers are equally, and I think, I have experienced there are different kind of consumers. I'll tell you, I used to work for the largest luggage company in the country, and we used to have company showrooms selling MRP products in the same mall where we had discounted products in Big Bazaar, and both were doing well. Same mall. Okay? So I think consumers are different for different products. Consumers are different for different categories. India is a large country, so therefore you cannot just say, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that.
Got
You have to be where your consumer is.
Got it.
If I can just add to that, I mean, this is a category that's quite well represented online. Almost 20-25% of the organized luggage space is online. But content is a very high proportion being consumed online. Now, whether that sale is consummated, in a retail store, in an EBO or an MBO is more like bottom funnel. Like, I mean, but getting that mind share is very clearly majority happening online and in our view, but offline is the place where it's getting closed. So I think that's how.
So online is the top funnel and the offline is the bottom funnel. Yeah, that's how it is.
Great, very good. So now I believe that government is also doing lots of things related to consumer brands. One example may be ONDC. That is a different issue, whether that is still reached at a stage where they want to reach it. So one quick revert or reaction from all of you. What do you suggest to the policy maker? What change they should bring into the table for the new age D2C brands?
I mean, I think a couple of pressing things that one deals with. One is the let's say the metrology rules. They have so many different departments or different states having their own metrology view, and then you get notices, for very small minor reasons, and then you have to start troubleshooting and trying to find ways of getting over that. So I think that's like a low-hanging, unnecessary experience for a consumer brand to be going through. I think the other, which is again very real, is this. It's very normal now for a D2C brand to be keeping its stock in 15 different locations in India, because quick deliveries become really important. But I think the regulatory process of starting a different place of business is just very tedious. It takes several months getting that. So I'd say those would be the.
Got it. Sahil, one change. I will take one suggestion from each.
I think the fair pricing, I think that at least for my category, that's very, very important. There has to be a policy boiling down on fair pricing, and not any big wig trying to burn from their pockets and just because one platform matches the other platform, and then it goes into a whirlwind, and then there is no one to reach out to eventually. So I think we need to not be at the mercy of them and their P&Ls, and let us control our P&Ls the way we want to.
Correct, but don't you think brands are playing with the discounting? Ultimately, pricing remains same all across the platform.
No,
but
I mean
then
they are.
say
I
the
mean,
cashback,
even if you look at QCOM, I mean, from what a consumer is saying, you cannot be controlling how you value my product. If I decide that 10% is my optimal, but if you decide to breach my guardrails and take it up to 25 because you are running your year-end sale,
Got it.
I mean, that's something which then devalues how you are going to view my brand. So that's something which I feel there should be
So
a
we
policy.
got two suggestions. One is ease of doing business, which include compliances as well. Fair pricing, Manasa.
I was actually going with the latter of what you said, so you've already taken that. I think ease of doing business translates very differently when you are doing the business. So I think a little bit on that.
On compliance part.
Yeah,
Got
compliance.
it. Sudeep.
I firmly believe that there should be something for the sustainable brands. We are BOM, our raw material is a little more costly because there are a couple of stages before it has to be done, because collecting the plastics, breaking it to the content, but we do not get any kind of support. And if government really wants, and I really want all the other players, because we use plastics, right, to make luggage. If this kind of support comes, it's actually going to be better, and most of the brands will shift to sustainability. And that's super important. Government should look into it, and it'll do wonders for the travel business.
Initiative or the incentive for the sustainability. What about you?
I think there needs to be some sort of compliance policy or some sort of a blueprint for larger retailers of any sort, offline or online, to have some sort of rules on what and how they can operate, be it pricing, be it discounting, be it undercutting the other players, be it brands that come in, from outside of India. So many things, but don't want to complicate for everyone. But overall, I think the need of the hour is that if we don't want to become so dependent on 3, 4, 6, 5, I don't know that number platforms, it's not going to be good for either the consumers in the long run. They might see some mid-term, short-term gains in terms of discounting, but for the overall ecosystem, it's never good. I think so that
Yeah. So,
should
Bharat,
be kept alive.
I saw one pitch where someone pitched me saying that there is an AI which will tell that which coffee you should take on Monday or certain hours. So what do you think about AI? How AI is disrupting the D2C space?
AI is disrupting the D2C space in the back end for sure. I think in terms of the content one is creating, that is really getting disrupted now. Also on the accounting side, I think that is already, we have utilized a lot of softwares in supply chain management, in receivables management, for example, vendor management.
So AI is extremely important to enhance your backend.
Yeah.
So is AI disrupting in any way your business?
AI is disrupting everywhere. I think today, the way you are creating content, the way you are using it to get newer categories or segments, it will continue to, and it's just the tip of the iceberg. I think as we see and as we learn how to use it, it's more important. It's already there. Perhaps we need to learn how to use it, and it will impact on a positive.
So what is your answer?
No, I think one of the most apparent places where we're seeing the impact is media buying. 2-3 years back when you were buying ads on Facebook and Google, you actually needed I'd say, you were selecting audiences, you were, deciding where to bid, where not to bid. Today, it's become a complete creative game. Because
Marketing, so you can use AI in your marketing back end.
yeah, I mean the places. I mean you actually, Facebook and Google are doing half the work because of the campaigns they're selecting, and it's doing as good a job.
Fully agree. Saahil, quick answer.
I think for us it is helping me keeping my head count low, because a lot of departments, the basic copywriters, the basic graphic designers, so I think who weren't really who were just adding to the head count. So I think I have lesser systems and lesser hands and feet on the floor, because AI is taking care of it.
Less resources using AI. Mansa.
Actually, we use it across pre-purchase. For discoverability, you can get your face scan, know what are the products that work for you end to end. When you're buying post-purchase, whether it is, just the back end or what you were saying, for brands to be powered by, just to manage everything from a business lens. And definitely, whether it's customer support, whether it is content creation, it's there everywhere. It's just a matter, but and helps at scale.
Great.
Helps scale.
One last line to the audience, which they can quote on their social media that yes, Mansa said that. This is an advice to new age brand.
Can we start from there?
One line only.
One line as an advice.
You can say it for all of us.
No, I have something, yeah.
Time's up.
Time's up. No, but I think it's...
No, I will say
Yeah,
this is
be
your
at it.
time now. It's time to start.
Keep raging.
I was going to say keep it kind. I was going to say keep it kind always.
Interesting. Chalo, Aditya or Saahil.
Keep raging.
Keep raging. Sudip.
Keep traveling.
Keep traveling. Sahil.
Stay beautiful.
Stay beautiful. Very good. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for having such a wonderful discussion. And
Thank you
very
so much.
to all.
Thank
We
you.
can take one question.
Essentially.
It was a lovely panel. Let's see if you have questions. Okay, so we have a couple of questions. Let's take that question.
I'm going to be quick. So this is question for the brand or the entrepreneur who trying to jump into the D2C. The question is simple. D2C versus marketplace versus quick commerce. Is it a challenge or an opportunity?
Whom you want to answer this question?
I think anybody, Aditya, Saahil.
No, it's very category dependent. There are categories that are clearly doing better on one versus the other. So I think you'll probably need to align your decision to the category you're picking. There are clearly categories doing well on quick commerce versus other categories which are not. Similarly for D2C, similar for marketplace. I think each one of these distribution channels are at very different stages of their evolution. different levels of competition within a subcategory. So I don't think there would be a clear-cut answer without the context of the category.
I think just to add to that, I think it could also be, if, in case you decide to be across all three categories, there has to be a hero product. And I think what is interesting with all these three channels is that all the three channels can have a very different hero product. So they can, I mean, coexist, and you're able to build three hero products because all three have a very, very different consumer set and very different consumer ask.
Perfect. Any other question?
Yes, we have one question.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. My question is for Bharat. When you entered the coffee market, there were already a lot of big players like, Nescafe, Brew. And apart from, there were new brands like Beanly was there, and, Bevzilla was there, which was heavily...
None of them were there when we entered, but go ahead. None of them were there when we entered.
So, I mean, if you look at these brands, which are very highly discounted also, like if we take example of Bevzilla, what all 3-4 things which Rage did, which helped you guys, set apart from your competitors, and in general, apart from Amazon and rest of the marketplaces, what all things you feel like that a new age founder should try to get the overall market perspective?
Yeah, so when we entered, there were only the legacy guys. Rage was the 5th SKU on Amazon in the coffee category, 5th SKU. So definitely we came from a place of true innovation. We never looked at anybody as a North Star brand that we want to copy. We came from a place of originality. It was my own need to create a functional, very completely different brand around coffee. Everybody was romanticizing with coffee. Barish ho rahi hai to pee lo, thandi ho rahi hai to pee lo. We said that coffee, the prediction at that time, 2019, was that in 2029, 2030, 40-50% of the country will be drinking coffee, and out of that 40-50%, most of them would be drinking at least 2 to 3 cups a day. Then it becomes a daily product. So I set on this 10-year journey of saying that pehle to coffee ko popularize karte hain, and then coffee ke use cases ko popularize karte hain, and so on and so forth. A lot of the people that have entered later on, and also the legacy guys, I would say, have doubled down on some of their products. They believe that serving dust and powder to the customer will work, and it maybe works for a short time period. It also works in certain areas where pricing pressure is immense. So for certain consumers who probably don't care about what they're drinking too much, they care about the price point a lot more, and they have a बहुत बड़ी audience है वैसी. So it works for them also. So my point is, you have your own positioning. We are very clear of what we want to do. We never focus on the others. Another thing is and personally my belief is that, if you focus too much on the competition, you lose sight of the customer, the consumer. The competition, if they're copying you, वो पीछे ही रहेंगे आपसे हमेशा. Mostly, in most categories. That's my belief. Baki Amazon marketplaces versus the D2C. I think as, Aditya also very, very clearly mentioned, and Saahil also mentioned that it's a discussion between, what some categories can do really well, some cannot do well. But if you don't have a hero SKU in quick com, it's a deathbed. Like, don't do that ever. Don't try to, spread yourself too thin, too wide on any of the platforms. But on quick com and, on marketplaces, it's good to double down when you have some SKU that the market has told you will work, sort of. Okay.
Thank you. So last question for them. All right, I think we are good. Thank you so much, panelists.